Isn't it weird that Nazi cops could not kill Hitler? That the Nazi cops could kill Anne Frank, and they could kill Anne Frank's mother and Anne Frank's sister. The Nazi cops, the cops who were Nazis in Nazi Germany, could kill Anne Frank. But those fucking Nazis, those tough guys, they couldn't lay a finger on Adolf Hitler. They couldn't kill Adolf Hitler. I thought you guys were fascists. I thought fascists were tough bullying guys, tough bullies. But all these tough bullies was getting picked on by the fucking squirt, that Adolf squirt. I'm just feeling a little like the fucking criminals get away with every fucking thing, and the good and the polite and the lawful, the good people, get fucked over. So I'm glad that this murdering piece of shit actually got arrested. He stabbed 4 people. Okay, so Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. 28-year-old criminal justice graduate student was arrested in eastern Pennsylvania on Friday as a suspect in the mysterious stabbing deaths of 4 University of Idaho students last month, authorities said. DNA evidence played a key role in identifying Bryan Christopher Kohberger as a suspect in the killings. Officials were able to match his DNA to genetic material recovered during the investigation. A law enforcement official said the official spoke on the condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to publicly discuss details of the ongoing investigation. So what the fuck? Bryan Christopher Kohberger's a PhD student? So he's not just like a college student. He's like a super college student. He went and did his 4 years of undergraduate work, got his BA or BS, and then went on. This is postgraduate work. He's doing master's, PhD shit. And they said that he was on suicide watch, but he actually kind of looks confident in the booking photo, like he's cocky almost. So either he's a total psychopath, right, who just stabs folks on a, midsummer's day for the fuck of it. A total psychopath who just likes to stab people for some kind of fucked up experiment that he had cooked up in his head while in college. Because he's a right-wing authoritarian lunatic with no morality, no understanding of American law, no fucking conscience. No conscience. How come American schools are producing a bunch of fucking psychos? Why does American schools, we're not just producing ignoramuses, we're producing savage, barbaric, Neanderthal criminal fucks. No understanding of American law. No conscience, no morality. This piece of shit that was arrested, this motherfucking Bryan Christopher Kohberger. And well, he gets 3 fucking names. My Uncle Tim Gripshover, his middle name was Christopher. Let's just say that Kohberger. So that fucking Kohberger is both a sadist and a nihilist. He's a person like that American Psycho, like Patrick Bateman. He's like a Patrick Bateman in American Psycho. Just stabbing homeless folks for the hell of it. He's sadistic. He likes to see the pain of others, and then at the end of the day, he doesn't care. He's a nihilist. He's a sadist. Sadism and nihilism is where a lot of evil come from. A lot of evil comes from sadism and nihilism. A PhD student, Bryan Christopher Kohberger, goddamn. So he's arrested, yet Paul Anthony Delgado and Alejandro Salas and Abel Acosta, they're all still free. These are other murderers, people that have taken the life of another human being. Paul Anthony Delgado, Alejandro Salas, and Abel Acosta are still free, and so is the killer of Ricky Kaiser. Ricky Kaiser, I just put a video out recently. Apparently, I can't find other people that want, that's opposed to crime. I think eventually I'm going to find some hippies out there that's opposed to crime, some anti-fascist, anti-racist, anti-child abusers who's opposed to crime. I think there's some good people out there. God, for 40 years, I've just been running into shit. The killer of Ricky Kaiser is still free. Who killed Ricky Kaiser? Ricky Kaiser's a homeless person in Colorado Springs. So say his name, Christians. Ricky Kaiser died for your sins. You know how many homeless people died in Colorado Springs this year? 102. 102 homeless people have died in Colorado Springs. And he was killed. He was murdered, and he was murdered November 5th, 2022. Ricky Kaiser, say his name. Come on, Christians. I know you treat others the way you'd want to be treated. If you saw somebody sleeping out in the middle of the street in the cold, of course you would push for your politicians to build a homeless shelter. You're not a piece of shit who goes to church in a big old fucking heated up church that just sits there 6 days a week. We got as many churches as homeless people. We got 20 times housing as we got homeless people. You're just a bunch of sick psychopaths, right? A bunch of sick psychopaths who watch homeless people just die on the street. I guess that's more of a negligent thing, right? That's negligent homicide. That's not outright cold-blooded. Thou shalt not murder. Fucking Bryan fucking Kohberger, you piece of shit. Hopefully justice is established. Hopefully justice will be done. But you never know with America's endless appeal system. He'll get a preliminary hearing. He'll actually get a fair shake. But you want a good conviction, so you give him a good lawyer. You give him a good process. Let him make the best case he can make. And then let a jury decide. But the killer of Ricky Kaiser, who is he? Are you concerned about it? Are you concerned that Ricky Kaiser didn't want to live in the street? Ricky Kaiser, look at his face. He looks like a nice face, a nice person. Ricky Kaiser was too fucking nice. He was too goddamn nice, and instead of bothering any one of you motherfuckers, he just peacefully slept in a fucking ditch one day, and then some other fucking piece of shit saw that he was vulnerable. Like a kid out in the playground by himself. And they took advantage. And now Ricky Kaiser is dead. Come on, Christians. How can 102 people die in the land of Christianity? How in the hell can 102 homeless people die in the land of abundance, in the land of Christianity? Are y'all just a bunch of fake? Is Christianity just to allow white women to be as Karen, as asshole, criminal piles of shit? Okay, so these Idaho stabbings, they happened November 12th on the 13th. The 12th or the 13th. Ricky Kaiser was killed on the 5th. How come we're talking about these 4 affluent white students? Why are we talking about these 4 affluent white students? There's a stabbing. There's blood. It's in Moscow. Somehow he got to the 2nd floor, but he didn't stab the 2 people that was on the 1st floor. There's a lot of people that get shot and killed without anybody even pointing or saying anything about it. Ricky Kaiser got killed November 5th. Just a week. He got killed a week prior. There's no manhunt. Nobody's talking about Ricky Kaiser. Nobody gives a damn about He's a homeless. He's a Jesus Christ. No, Jesus Christ, you stay off to the side. No, you stay over there and you get crucified. I'm trying to make this money, Jesus. Why are you so serious? Why is the media so serious? Because it's affluent whites. That's why there's so much attention being put onto this. Oh my goodness, that could have been us. They look like jerks to me, so I guess other jerks could look at them and say, oh my goodness, that could have been us. Thou shalt not murder, and being a jerk isn't a crime, so even if they are white nationalists, and you know, when it comes to Caucasians, I don't know any of you assholes that's anti-racist. Is any one of you Caucasians not a white nationalist? I'm a pinky peach man. I got pale skin, but I don't like that white designation. I don't like that whiteness. I think a lot of ugliness comes out of that white nationalism. But being a jerk isn't a crime. Thou shalt not murder. So I'm glad that the murderer was caught. Moscow, Idaho. What's Moscow named after? It used to be called Paradise Valley, but the name's changed to Moscow in 1875. Now, some people dispute that it wasn't Moscow, Russia. I think it has something to do with Moscow, Russia, but there's something about the Russian capital, right? Russia's capital is Moscow, and that either it was purposely evoked, the Russian city, or it was named by Russian immigrants. There's another rumor that says that Moscow comes from a Native American tribe named Masco. Oh, it's Masco, Idaho. Early settlers reported that 5 local men met to choose a proper name for the town, but they couldn't agree. And then the postmaster, Samuel Neff, completed the official papers for the town, and he went ahead and chose Moscow. Now, this Samuel Neff, find out who he is. Find out if he's a Russian immigrant. But ultimately, Samuel Neff was born in America, so not a Russian immigrant, or maybe his parents were. So he's an American by birth. He's born in Moscow, Pennsylvania, and then he moves to Moscow, Iowa. So he born in Moscow, Pennsylvania, moves to Moscow, Iowa. He could have just been an American who's living in all these Moscow towns, wanting to keep Moscow as his hometown, even though he's in Idaho. Moscow, Russia. I mean, all that shit that's going down in Ukraine. If that dude wanted to go and do some stabbings, how come he didn't just join the military? And go to Moscow, Russia, or go to Ukraine. Join the military. Join the police force. We could use that aggression against bad people. Like I said, where's that Alejandro Salas at? Where's that Abel Acosta at? Is anybody worried about this? Paul Anthony Delgado killed people and he's running around. Anybody gonna say anything about that? Because that's bullshit and that's wrong and you shouldn't be doing that kind of shit. Maybe with the capture of this Kohberger, we can actually start catching some of these other motherfucking killers. It's kind of crazy that mass murderers, right? You got that James Holmes got protective custody. I'm not for sure if I have any protection. Well, you're a good, lawful, polite citizen. So I don't deserve police protection, but a mass murderer, James Holmes, he does. So fuck those Russian orc bastards. Remember the Holodomor. Remember Mariupol? Remember what they did to Mariupol? That wasn't just 4 people killed. That was 10 thousands of people killed. They said tens of thousands of people. So 20,000, 30,000. We can't even count. We don't even know how many. The Holodomor, those millions of people starved to death. Russians are murdering people by the bushel because they want to steal land. They have all that land over there and they want to take Ukraine's land. They want to take Poland's land and Belarus's land, motherfucker. We got borders. Stay in your own home. And if you want to get more land, go to Siberia. Motherfucker's got the biggest country in the world and he still wants to take more territory. Yeah, fuck those Russian orc bastards. So Robbie brought this whole case to light for me on Breaking, talking the nation, the hills, the rising. Robbie, he mentioned it and it kind of seemed weird because it's true crime and it's like, why are you talking about true crime? Usually it's politics, but for some reason he talked about this and it's like, oh, okay. And then it went mainstream. So Kohberger, I bet that Kohberger will get a preliminary hearing, even in motherfucking Idaho. I bet he'll get a fairer shake than me. I fired some warning shots in September of 2021, like over a year ago. I fired a couple warning shots at the right-wing sovereign movement pulling their fucking right-wing sovereign fascist bullshit. And that's what I'm going to prove in April. But I fired a couple warning shots. But who here amongst us wish that Bryan Kohberger only shot a couple warning shots? Nobody got hurt. Nobody got hurt with the warning shots, but Kohberger had a knife and murdered people. 4 20-year-olds. He's 28. Now, schools are crap. We have to mention this. Public schools are crap. Colleges are crap. He's getting a PhD. This is what they're teaching in college now. I mean, let's be honest. They've been teaching this kind of crap ever since the very beginning. I don't know if you saw that Rashad Ritchie video where the black woman was getting taken out of the classroom. The black woman was getting taken out of the classroom because she didn't do her homework. She got arrested in college. You better obey the white massa, the white dictator. Hey! Hey! The town of Moscow hadn't seen a murder in 7 years. So, small town, right? Small town and grisly, gruesome, insane. That is kind of, everybody's just kind of doing their own thing. It seems like everything's on the up, and then all of a sudden, what the hell? Somebody snapped. But I'm thinking about that black woman who got taken out of the classroom because she didn't do her homework. So you had the dictator in the beginning, right? The monarchist, the autocrat. That's what they said the whole Russian Revolution was, to overthrow the autocrat. The American Revolution was to overthrow the monarchy. But go to our classrooms. There's autocracy in our classrooms. There's monarchy in our classrooms. There's no freedom in democracy. There's no freedom in democracy. She's going to college. The black woman's going to college. Is she gonna? It's humiliating that she got arrested in class. She's like, I hate you, Miss Whatever. I hate you. It was humiliating, but I'm wondering, is she going to recover from that? She went to college to better her life. But Miss fucking Monarchy wants her to do a bunch of busy work and fucking shitting on her. I get the power, I get the money, and then, oof. Investigators honed in on Kohberger as a suspect through DNA evidence and by confirming his ownership of a white Hyundai Elantra seen near the crime scene, according to 2 law enforcement sources briefed on the investigation. Kohberger, who authorities say lived just minutes from the scene of the killings, is a PhD student in Washington State University's Department of Criminal Justice and Criminology. So he went to there was another university. He's going to Washington State University and he's studying criminal justice. These people should come out wanting to go after the criminals, not be the criminal. And my biggest 2 questions is how and why. He stabbed 4 people on the 2nd floor. How did he get to the 2nd floor? He climbed up to the windows. He walked to the 1st floor while the 2 people on the 1st floor was sleeping and didn't wake up. That seems pretty incredible. Why? Seems like what? One of them spur his advances. He was trying to get a hot dog somewhere randomly, right? In some college town. Doing his college thing and then tried to hit on an old woman, and then she was like, no. And he was like, oh yeah. And now he's doing this shit. Skipped over the 1st floor, folks. How? Why? How was he able to do it, and why? What was the fucking point, man? One thing Andrew Tate had said that was kind of made me scratch the old noodle, the old noodle scratcher. Andrew Tate said a noodle scratcher. Andrew Tate had said that a corrupt government will just try to fuck you over regardless of the charge. They'll try to fuck you over regardless of the charge. They just picked you. They picked you. Nah, fuck you. And then they're going to do whatever they can to fuck you over, even if it's just a jaywalking charge. That's what they did to Tupac. So that Andrew Tate, if he's a criminal, put him in jail. Make sure he does his time. But if the government is fucking with Andrew Tate, then that's some bullshit. Because he's getting popular? Because people are listening to him? Is he hurting people? And when you compare Andrew Tate to this Kohberger dickhead, this Kohberger makes Andrew Tate look like the sweetest person ever. My God, Kanye and Andrew Tate should go have a picnic. Andrew Tate and Kanye, go have a picnic, man. This Kohberger, he looks guilty. He looks guilty. He looks like a psycho. And he stabbed 4 people. Our system has it to where lawyers will charge you thousands and thousands of dollars to fumble the football, and then they'll get you to plead out anyways. When it comes to college, we got all these traditions and institutions that don't need to exist. They just exist to exist, like a homunculus. Oh, you're a homunculus, and you just want to copy yourself just to exist. When that Fate Zero and the Grail, you wanted world peace, but you didn't have a plan. How about a homunculus? You want a homunculus instead? No, I wanted world peace, but you didn't have a plan for getting there. And you know what's brilliant about that? If you come up with a plan, if your ideal is world peace, and then you come up with a plan, then you could see your own plan through. Was that the point of Fate Zero? A little-known graduate student at a nearby school. That's who Kohberger was. So you got all these college students. But you had this Bryan C. Kohberger, 28-year-old from Pennsylvania. Fucking Pennsylvania is producing some shit. Those motherfucking child molesting Nazis. There's McDonald. Samantha McDonald didn't even get in trouble for that. That was kind of crazy. She came from Pennsylvania and Alabama. And he got 40 years. And she didn't get any trouble. For 5 years, well... KKK vigilante motherfuckers. Bunch of criminal motherfuckers going around committing crimes. This one turns his other cheek. This one is kind. This one is polite. He's a sucker. We need someone to stand up for the kind people, for the meek, for the humble, for the lawful. How come there's nobody out here? Well, I guess if you're being hounded by the right-wing sovereign movement, and I'm going to prove it. April. I'm going to prove it in April. The right-wing sovereign movement shouldn't exist, but it does. Ricky Rodriguez, I think, almost got rid of the whole thing with that arrest. But it's still over there, and the bacteria is fucking growing. Anybody here opposed to the right-wing sovereign movement? Am I the only person around here opposed to the right-wing sovereign movement? I wasted all that time reading all those planning and zoning laws. I wasted all that time, all that money at that RV park to make sure when I go into Costilla County, I go into Costilla County the right way as a lawful person. Before attending WSU, Kohberger graduated from DeSales University in Allentown, Pennsylvania with a Master of Arts degree in criminal justice in May 2022, according to Carolyn Stiegelman, Associate Vice President of Marketing and Communications. Allentown is about 40 miles south of Albrightsville, went back and finished his doctorate. Kohberger stabbed 4 people and then went back and finished his doctorate. You think he ever reached out to anybody because he needed to talk to somebody? You think he ever reached out to anybody and say, man, I just, this shit keeps happening. I just want a witness. I just want someone to. No, that's I bet you there's some interesting papers he wrote. They'd be evidence now. The University of Idaho campus had been busy on that Saturday, hours before the victims were killed. A sea of gold and silver as the Vandals prepared for a home game against UC Davis Aggies. The Aggies versus the Vandals. I mean, look at our damn mascots. Vandals? Are you talking about the Germanic tribe, the Vandals? Because that's kind of cool if you're talking about the Germanic tribe, the Vandals. But if you're talking about vandalism, right? You get on Wikipedia and you type something, they'll say, stop with your vandalism. Spray painting, destroying property, defacing property, vandalism. And then they lost. The damn Vandals lost, so you guys are cheering on, criminal fucks. And your criminal fucking team lost. It was 28 degrees. So when I think about college, I think about the PhD, all that fucking dumb shit, right? That motherfucker's not trying to better himself so he can better the world. He's a selfish piece of shit. He's a Patrick Bateman. When I think about college, we don't have freedom and democracy even in college. We don't even have freedom and democracy. We're supposed to be young Americans and we're supposed to be inheriting this republic. We're not learning the Bill of Rights. We're not learning the 3 branches of government. We're not reading the Constitution. We used to have civics. We don't have civics anymore. We got social studies. But Mary Beth Flynn is in social studies and she says the First Amendment is not freedom of speech. Oh, it's not the freedom of speech? I guess if you're an autocratic monarchist fucking dictator, you're going to tell your students to shut the fuck up. I get to talk and you don't. I get all the money. I get all the power. And you get nothing. I get to take your money. I get to take your power. How the hell does that help me? When the damn teacher, the professors, even the professors are oppressors. Even the professors are teaching. Maybe Harvard is better, but I went to Xavier University and University of Louisville. And it was strict hierarchy. I would have loved to have gone to a college where you could share ideas, talk about ideas, question ideas, have debates, and people actually want to learn. They're committed to learning. Wouldn't that be nice? God damn, where is that place at? I thought that was going to be college, but that was not college at all. Shut up, sit down. They're still the fucking insecure dumb fuck, and they, even if there was only 5 students, Spalding University, that motherfucker, I forget that person that kept touching my leg. She's a teacher, right? She gets to touch my leg and shit. She had a microphone talking to 5 students. You couldn't figure out a way to do freedom and democracy with 5 students? Jesus Christ, I've been trying to encourage people, be reverent. But apparently all I had to do is just tell you to shut up and sit down, and then you just respect the hell out of me. I'm trying to tell you jokes and share knowledge with you. Share knowledge, tell jokes, be inspiring. But apparently just shut up, sit down, that's what you respond to. God, that's so much harder to be reverent. It's so much harder to inspire people to action. Tupac is right. Fear is stronger than love. Fear is stronger than love. I just don't see how doing a bunch of crap busy work. Oh, you want me to do a bunch of crap busy work, huh, professor? That's going to make a living. I got yelled at for talking when I wasn't even the one talking in motherfucking teacher training school. Say I got straight A's, I'm valedictorian, I graduated college, then I go to teacher training school. So this is like grade 17. Grade 17? And that asshole Spalding University again, sitting there chastising me like I'm a dumb kid talking. I didn't say a word, it was the person next to me. But who gives a shit, right? She's the dictator. She gets all the power. She gets all the money. She's the autocrat. She's the monarchist. And it's a totalitarian society. She even controls your thoughts. Thing about fucking slave drivers, they want you to obey and smile and whistle. Be happy with your low lot in this world. But I gotta live in this capitalistic America. I gotta live in this democratic America. I can run for office. That's a job. I gotta get a job somehow. I got to run a small business. It's either sink or swim. Do or die. Some people can get fucking food stamps. I've never been able to figure how do you convince these fucking bureaucrats to give you any of there's supposed to be all this fucking even in college I couldn't get all the money that I was entitled to by the government. I think it's probably just a bunch of dumb motherfuckers in these positions of power that keep on screwing everybody else. But at 18, I'm going to have to get a job and get a career. I'm going to, raise a family. I'm going to be able to sign contracts. I can go to the military and get a gun. And I got to live in this capitalistic, democratic America. And going through public schools, going through college, it didn't help me at all. It'd been better if I would have just took that money. $15,000 is what each one of the students get. Just take that money and invest in a business. Just take that money and give it to some Joe Blow whoever. At least I would have somebody that I can articulate these views with. Instead, I went to school, listened to the teacher, obeyed, didn't get shit out of it, and who gives a shit? They got all the money, they got all the power, and fuck you. They're creating savages, they're creating psychos. These dictators are not teaching them how to get along. These dictators aren't teaching them how to obey their conscience or talk about what's good and what's bad. There's no discussion of morality whatsoever. Public schools is fascism. It's totalitarian, hierarchical fascism. Why don't Americans understand freedom and democracy? Because of our public schools and because of our colleges and our PhDs. We don't have freedom and democracy even in our American classrooms. I thought we overthrew the British. Why do we have a monarchy in our classrooms? I thought the Russians overthrew the czars. Why do we have an autocrat at the front of the classroom? Freedom and democracy. It always made, growing up in a family of 5, it seemed crazy that one person would have power. There's only 5 of us. You could just talk to us and we would all probably agree with what you're saying if you were persuasive enough. And not even if you were persuasive enough, I'm just sick and tired of these oppressors stealing our blood, sweat, toil, and tears. Go do a bunch of busy work so I can feel powerful. Go do a bunch of busy work. A crap busy work that'll waste your time, waste my time, waste everybody's time. So she could get the money and power, and I'm Mr. Nobody. Sick and tired of being sick and tired. Sick and tired of obeying the law and being polite and mannerly. Treating others the way you want to be treated. You ever heard, hey Christians, you guys ever heard the golden rule, you treat others the way you want to be treated? I was a better Christian when I was a Christian, and I'm a better Christian as an atheist today than all these fucking Christians. You treat others the way you want to be treated. I'm committed to goodness, are you? If you're committed to goodness, you don't go around hurting other people. 40 years of being a good, polite, lawful man hasn't gotten me anywhere. Ultimately, colleges still treat their students as sit down and shut up dumb fucks. The professors are the bosses, and they wrote a book or something. Somehow they were able to get hired on. Who knows how? Who knows where they came from? But they're the authority, and they have all the information. You're an empty vessel, and they know it. They know it all, and you gotta kiss their ass and hope that one day they'll. I bet you they respect their fucking. Some fucking criminal fuck that just says, "Oh yeah, I'll hit you if you do that." They'll fucking respect some criminal fucking prison fuck more than they'll respect their own students. Well, I've always oppressed them and told them what to do. I took all their money and they're the sage on the stage. They're not a guide by the side. And if you're not a guide by the side or a sage on the stage, you're not even educating, are you? You're just a fucking manipulating, oppressive, molester piece of shit. The professors, the bosses, the cops, the parents are oppressor molesters. They're a bunch of nozo-chomos, a bunch of fascist creeping sons of bitches. I made straight A's in school. I mean, I had to or I'd get beat up. There's violence that would happen to me at home. There's felt like violence at the school. Shut up, sit down. Can I talk to my peers? I remember Mr. Himes' class. I liked Mr. Himes a lot, and I kind of had a breakdown with him, and he was like, I don't want to do this anymore because of you. It's like, man, I'm going through some shit myself, so maybe this could open up a conversation. But I made the best of it. Okay, I got to make good grades, and I would try to do the work as the teacher told me to do, but I also try to be cool, aloof, and funny, cracking jokes here and there. Yeah, I'm doing what I'm told. Everybody did what they were told, so I think that my peers were thinking that I was doing the right thing too. I made straight A's. I was valedictorian in my high school. I went to college. I graduated University of Louisville, started at Xavier, finished at University of Louisville. I got my BA in political science 2012. Then I went to Spalding University. I went to grade 17, and they're still fucking acting like I'm a kindergartner. Like I didn't have 16 years of education. And what sucks about that is because I've been oppressed, shut up and sit down. When I do stand up, I fucking stumble. You all been trying to trip me up the whole fucking time. Sit down, shut up. Basically, I was stronger before I went to school. I could stand up and say what I believe, but then when you're in class, they're trying to, push you over here, push you over there. It's classroom management. Fuck a managing son of a bitch. I like leaders. You want to inspire me? Okay, I'll listen. You want to persuade me? Cool. You want to be an authoritarian fucking piece of shit, tell me to sit down and shut the fuck up? Get the fuck out of my face. Being a sit down, shut up student isn't going to make me successful in this world. Straight A's, valedictorian, BA, political science, University of Louisville, 2012. I did all the extra credit work in high school that was offered. Oh, what? I get another 2 points? I already have 110 in this class, but sure, I'll take. I stayed in school. You had senior skip day happen. So, yeah, I had no friends. I think networking is pretty important. And when I sit in these classrooms, I feel a strong sense of solidarity. I didn't make straight A's or become valedictorian. I very much feel like my valedictorian success is the world's valedictorian success. Not a single person out here could not have done what I did if they just put the same time and effort into it. So I didn't get a valedictorian statue and say, oh, I'm better and smarter than all of you. I got a valedictorian statue and I said, look at what we all did. Look at what we're all capable of. And I was able to do that without any books, without any encouragement, without any teachers at home. Just a bunch of... But no desk, no books. So I'd have to do my homework in between classes. Find one of the slower classes and then do the Miss Klinkenbeard's work in the slower class. The best way to learn, experience, dialogue, teaching others. Teaching others. So dialogue and experience are kind of self-explanatory, so it's teaching others. You retain 90% of that which you teach to others. So even the teachers get the most education in the classroom. It's like the rich getting richer and the poor getting poor. I got a little bit more about American schools.